Welcome back. This is the Intel on ENCA. I'm in conversation with Thanduxolo Sabelo, a member of the Executive Committee in eThekwini Municipality, as well as the Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor, Nqaba Bhanga. We have been let down by other panelists who were supposed to be part of this conversation. But anyway, let's leave that there now. I must learn to let go once things have been settled. Before I go back to that conversation, let me show you what we'll be doing for you in the coming days here on ENCA, right? So because we are talking about the metros at the moment, let me just show you part of what we have done in terms of helping you understand the granular detail of what happened with those metros. And you'll see that as the figures start getting populated from the IEC, we will be able to show you in comparison to where we were in 2016 to where we will be at any given point of the counting and tallying of votes. So we're discussing metros. Let me show you what happened with the various metros in 2016. There you have them listed. So right now we're talking about eThekwini as well as Nelson Mandela Bay. You'll remember Nelson Mandela Bay was one of those hotly contested ones. So let me start there and just show you performance of the various political parties in that city in 2016. So that's how it looked in terms of who swept. So those demarcations you see there are the various wards that were being contested in Nelson Mandela Bay. You will see there that the ANC really was under siege in as far as that metro is concerned in 2016, and the DA was advancing. Not quite to get an out-and-out majority. As you will see, they ended up needing the support of other political parties. You see the EFF there featuring in the equation, and if I remember correctly, I think there were other political parties. I think it was the Patriotic Front of South Africa, if I remember correctly, and other political parties. Then let me take it back then and show you what eThekwini looked like in 2016. This is eThekwini in 2016. The dominance of the ANC there, unquestionable. Perhaps it's not a clean sweep as they would have preferred and would have wanted, but you will see there from the north of the city, those wards there in green with the ANC. The more coastal wards, as you see that, that yellow denotes the Democratic Alliance in our scheme there to be able to, for you to differentiate what's been happening. You will see there pockets of the IFP. That's that color, I think it's pink. Please forgive me if that's not the color and there's a specific name of the color. The IFP featuring their independence as well, also featuring, and the EFF as well in that particular picture. So that's something that we thought we should show you of what you'll be seeing more of over the next coming days of our coverage. It's got other pockets of what we'll be able to do, especially around the results. So let's go back to the conversation then. Thanduxolo Sabelo and Nqaba Bhanga join me. So in the order that we started, Nqaba Bhanga, in fact, I think let's switch the order. Let's start where we ended before the break. Thanduxolo Sabelo, you were ranting and raving about your achievements as an administration. I expect the same kind of candor in as far as your failures are concerned. You've got about a minute and a half. Let's go.
Well, I'm not necessarily going to say it is failures. It is rather challenges that we are facing as eThekwini Municipality, which we are addressing. I think the biggest challenge that we face here is the issue of unemployment. It's really on the rise, and we are, as eThekwini Municipality, have developed a lot of strategies to try to curb it and to try to reduce it as much as possible. I'm sure you would have read about a lot of economic development opportunities which we have given to young people in our budget. We have made it very clear that in all our infrastructure spend, 30% of it needs to go to previously disadvantaged people and also young people to that matter, so that we can be able to reduce it. We also do have a problem with water leaks in the city, but I must state that while it remains a challenge in the city, we are still able to attend to it because we remain the best city. If you have read lately the independent research that was done, which says which puts eThekwini Municipality right on top and makes us the best performing municipality in South Africa. that research it also speaks about the water leaks. Even there, we are performing far better than other municipalities, including Nelson Mandela Bay, including Western Cape Town municipality. So as the ANC, we really do believe that there are a bit of challenges. We are a rural metropolitan. Now, other metropolitans are vastly urban, but 60% of our municipality remains rural. And therefore, we've got a challenge of infrastructure. But as this ANC-led government, we are doing very well. If you go to rural areas in eThekwini municipality now, you will see that we have invested a lot on infrastructure. You will see that we have got blacktop roads now, something that previously didn't exist. We have got water infrastructure, we've got electricity infrastructure. We are pushing as much as possible to try and bring to par rural areas with urban areas. And in no time, eThekwini municipality will be 100% urban if the ANC government, or when, as the ANC government continues to govern the city. And I'm sure also in Nelson Mandela Bay, we are coming to take what belonged to us after the mess that was created by the Democratic Alliance.
Thanduxolo Sabelo, so you've counted the challenges and the problems, which I termed as failures. But I see that nowhere there do you mention the solid waste tender project, the scandalous over 300 million rand solid waste tender project that's got a lot of regional leaders and other people now being indicted and going through trials. Is that because you believe that doesn't feature highly among issues that let down the people of eThekwini?
No, definitely that was one of our challenges in eThekwini. But the ANC acted swiftly. All comrades or leaders of the ANC that were involved in that scandal, the African National Congress removed them from the list. Not even one of them who still remain with that challenge of the Durban solid waste is on the list of the African National Congress. We have made it very clear that we will have zero tolerance in terms of fraud and corruption. That is why 2 to 3 years later, after that scandal happened, there is nothing else that you can speak about in terms of corruption or fraud in the municipality, except for something that has happened 2 to 3 years ago. But we must also be able to say that we are actually dealing with solid waste challenges. In a month ago, we were able to unveil 200 million rand worth of fleet, which we have procured as eThekwini municipality, which will come and deal with all the backlogs that we face. So that challenge as well, the ANC has dealt with it. We are very clear. They were zero tolerance in terms of fraud and corruption.
All right, so let me take it then to Nqaba Bhanga then. Nqaba, you were also listing your challenges as the administration that has led Nelson Mandela Bay for a significant amount of time because, of course, in your context, it's been quite choppy waters in as far as the politics and governance is concerned. But do you have instances where you feel you let the people of Nelson Mandela Bay down and perhaps you even owe them an apology? All right, I'm not hearing you, Nqaba Bhanga. I suspect as these things happen in this age, you may have muted yourself, so take it again.
Yeah, I think the first problem I have on a lighter note, I've not done more, was to pray for more rain. So we should have prayed for more rain. We're faced with a serious rain challenge in Thulasizwe. Our dams are at 12.5%. And I think what we've not done more to communicate to our residents more to reduce the water consumption from 300 megaliters a day to less than 200 megaliters a day. That's the biggest challenge we still have, to convince our residents to reduce water consumption in order for us to be able to circulate water to people. And I must say, the second issue that worries me the most in the city is the illegal dumping in the townships. That we have budgeted money, but it's a continuing problem. We clean and the people continue to dump again. And the biggest challenge I think I'm still faced and we're still faced with is to educate our people about making Nelson Mandela a clean city. It is for that reason that I'm going to put more money to make sure that there's enforcement, and also people who would watch and also penalize people who are illegally dumping, and also improve Arlington landfill sites and other landfill sites in order for us to manage these issues better. The third issue that I think we should have done more on them is that we introduced a short spotter in gangster areas such as Helenvale and also recently Warmer Township, where I've extended. I would have wished to extend it more to other areas of serious crime, because this short spotter Thulasizwe helps is that when a person shoots, it reports directly to the police station who are able to respond, which have reduced in these areas I've mentioned the level of shooting by 90%. Therefore, I would have wished but in this short 9 months, I should have extended it broader to the city. But 9 months, it's 9 months. In the next 5 years, I'll make sure that the city is got this. The issue of the underground infrastructure becomes a bigger problem. 20 billion backlog of infrastructure. We have not dealt sufficiently with blockages in our communities, and I want to put more money for us to revamp, reconstruct our infrastructure.
Similarly, Nqaba Bhanga, and before I go to a break, similar to what I had to point out to Thanduxolo Sabelo, you are also leaving out the big elephant in the room. You ran a very unstable government. You couldn't get on at times with some of your coalition partners. You were accused by those coalition partners as the DA of governing as if you don't need them, as if you had an outright majority when you actually did need them. Let me paint it an even clearer picture what I'm talking about. There's a scene that played out in your council that I will never forget, Nqaba Bhanga, when Ethel Trollip and the late mayor, not the late mayor, the deputy mayor at the time, the UDM of the UDM at the time, when there was voting for the budget to be passed, when everyone in the room who was supporting the budget raised their hand in support, but the deputy mayor simply could not bring himself to join in that support. You can blame the UDM and other coalition partners, but you were as much to blame for that mess as they were.
I must say, Thulasizwe, I'm happy now that in the past 9 months, the relationship between our coalition partners have been stable. But it is for this reason that voters should understand that they must go out in numbers and vote for a majority government. In order for us in the next 5 years to have a stable government where we can take decisions and not have to beg to pass a budget, as you are saying. It's not easy to manage coalitions. And I can tell you it also goes with personalities. In this case, in 2016, Councillor Bubani, now I'm working with Lukolo Namet. You won't believe the kind of relationship we have, which have brought stability, because the personalities between the two of us, we relate better, and that relationship between the DA and the UDM has improved. But we want a 50+1 majority in order for us to be able to implement our clear blueprint going forward as a democratic alliance.
Let's see if we can
for all coalitions in South Africa, personalities will always be a problem, but I can tell you that we have improved and showed the case that you can do it if you listen to each other and try to engage and agree on principles of good governance.
Nqaba Bhanga, let's pause there for a moment. I want to take a quick break and we'll return with this conversation in a moment. As you can see at the bottom of your screen there, we want you to be part of this conversation, and you can call us on that number that you are seeing there on the screen, and the team will take your calls and we'll put you through, and then you can weigh in on the running of some of these metros, especially if you live in the two metros that eventually became part of this conversation, eThekwini and Nelson Mandela Bay. The intel continues in just a moment here on ENCA.